So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, it's do better_fitness, and that's for my work one, and our car one is watch_German_cars. Okay, please enjoy the video. Okay, so I made this video because I was asked to make it by Kayak Girl Central Coast 3721, and I'm happy to do so. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to get the best range out of your hybrid. So she has a BYD C Line 6. The closest thing we could get in the UK is the BYD Seal U. So it's pretty much the same thing. We do have two variants, and I'm pretty sure you have the smaller battery variant in the one you have. But I will show you the two variants here. And unfortunately, US, you're right, we don't get them. But luckily, right now I'm in the UK, so I did get my hands on a few, and I'll be showing you how we improve basically the range. So before I get too far into it, I'm going to be telling you that honestly, if you're just trying to spend the least amount of money and be able to do your commute, a full EV is way better than a hybrid. With hybrids, as you can see in my previous videos, I've shown with my Panamera 971, and we even have a Cayenne hybrid turbo, and they're not more efficient really than a basic EV. The EV is always going to be cheaper for you to do basic trips. So that's why as a daily, we just run an EV now. And it is, if you're just looking for something that's cheap, there's nothing that's going to be cheaper than an EV. They're cheaper to maintain, and even if you get one that's not that efficient, it still works out to be so much cheaper because the energy tariffs you can get are some very cheap ones. I don't even have that. I just get normal energy from our house at just regular pricing, and it still works out to be so much cheaper than running the hybrid or running one of our other cars. And just because I don't want people to think, oh, he's an EV person, blah blah blah, this is what I used to do as a daily, and I'm going to show you our E63S. So you can see I'm only getting 8.9 mpg, so that's horrendous. So for our day-to-day, an EV is the way to go. Okay, hybrids, just like EVs, it's hard to get the claimed range figure. So heating and air conditioning does make a big difference. These are the two that we have in the UK. That's for our closest thing to your vehicle. So this is capacity is 18.3, and he says 49-mile range, which I couldn't get, and a 26.6 kilowatt hour range, and 77 miles. Also in the 77 miles I couldn't get. I do have a heavier foot, but you can't use climate control. If you're going to go on a trip, you have to precondition the vehicle, and all those kind of things do make a difference. In my case, the best I could get was not using auto. I would use the EV under speeds, like city speeds, and once you got onto a motorway or higher speeds than 52 miles per hour, you'd have to just put it in auto, because then the motor just makes the overall trip more efficient, unless you can do the entire trip in EV mode. But if you know, because you're going too far, that you can't, use the motor when you're at higher speeds, because then the EV is not that efficient. The next biggest thing with EVs and cars that you're trying to be economical with is the rolling resistance of the tires. You want to make sure you change the tires that come with the car. You want to have the best rolling resistance as possible. So we did try these with different wheels and tire packages. If you put a lightweight set of rims on it, you can actually improve your range quite a bit. And if you put a tire with a low rolling resistance, you can actually improve your range quite a bit. Obviously, if you do buy another set of rims and tires, it is money. I don't know if you want to spend that much, but lightweights do make a difference. And if you don't want to spend that much, just change the tires to something with lower rolling resistance. That really does make a difference as well. So the biggest thing with EVs is climate control. If you use the air conditioning or the heating or the heated steering wheel, the heated seats, or the air conditioned seats, it will affect your range. So the best thing that you could do is precondition the car before your trip, and then turn these features completely off. And the more aid that you turn off on the car, the less the computer is going to be using battery. All these things help you. Unfortunately, you buy a luxury car and you want to use all these features, so it just depends how much you want to eke out the range. Turning these things off does help you, so turn off the heating and the air conditioning and you will see a larger range figure. Me personally, I don't do this. Unless you're on a really long trip and you just don't want to stop to make it home, then fine. But most of the time, we just run it like a normal car. I'd rather just stop and charge. Okay, so I learned this probably like 8 years ago when me and my cousin both had the same car. We drove it to the same party from the same spot, and mine was so much more economical than theirs. And the only difference between these two vehicles, similar kind of miles, same tires, same pressure, same everything, is the fact that mine is always freshly detailed when we go anywhere. So I am very meticulous with my vehicles. So they're always very clean. They're very well detailed, waxed, and there's coatings on them. So they're very aerodynamical. Difference between a dirty car and a clean car. So I arrived there with the same fuel as we started with, and I had, I think, used a quarter tank less than they had used. So that is one thing that you can do. Keep in mind, if you're going on a far trip, make sure your vehicle is clean. So just get wax it. If you want to learn how, you can watch some of my videos. I have quite a few up. And then make sure there's not extra cargo in the vehicle. So I'm horrible at this. I always have so much extra stuff in the trunk that I don't need. And realistically, I could take a bunch of the stuff out and it would make it lighter, and that would be more beneficial for range. So for the big thing, the mode does make a difference. You can change EV or HEV. So depending on what circumstance you're using in, you do need to change that. Also, you need to make sure you are in eco if you're trying to get the most mileage out of your range. It does actually make a big difference. And I did test this. My friend tested it in Perth, Australia, and I tested it in the UK. You do get better range in eco mode. So do use it if you're trying to get the most mileage. Once again, I don't like eco. It's just too slow. I just like sport, but each their own. If you're trying to get the most, use eco. It does make a difference. And then understand the charging. So this doesn't have too much of a charging curve, honestly. 18 you can DC, 7 is AC. If you're going to charge it out, try to find at least an 18 kilowatt charger and then use that to top it up. And then you can basically run it for cheaper if you don't want to use the fuel. But do remember what I always say, with these kind of vehicles, you do still have to service both ends of the vehicle. Meaning this is an EV and it is a petrol vehicle. So you're going to service the motor and the EV side. This does cost you more than just a standard EV. Currently what we do is we use a Mercedes GLE 450 plug-in hybrid as our distance vehicle, and then a local vehicle we are just using mostly just the EQC 400 because that is what I started to use as the new daily, I think like a year ago. Hopefully with these tips you can get better range, and if you do, please like and subscribe. I know you already subscribed. Thank you for that as well. And if this video is up to anybody else, let me know. And if you too have a question, let me know, and I really will try to do my best to help. See you next Wednesday. Bye!